Hi, kids. Welcome to part two of our COVID-19 assignment. In part one, we took a look at some of the data that the Illinois Department of Health has put out, and that showed us kind of a local thing, as close as we can tell. For Kendall County, which Plano's in, which means us, Yorkville, Oswego, and then as well as our region, which contains a lot more of Illinois, including some parts of Illinois that are a long way away from us. But we kind of looked at some of that. We saw, hospital beds and all the kind of stuff that we need to be concerned about locally if cases start to go up. Now, in this part of the assignment, part two, what we're going to look at is how are things looking nationally, meaning all the states, and then how are things looking for Illinois in particular. So we're kind of zooming back a little bit on this take here, and to do that, we're going to go to the New York Times, and they've got pretty much the best coronavirus coverage of anybody out there. So they've been kind of putting it together since the very beginning back in March, and that's kind of where we're going to go. Now, what's probably going to happen is they're going to let you go to the first page that we click on here, this link for the coronavirus hotspots, which I'm going to go to in just a moment. When you try and click to another page, they're going to make you create a free account, which is pretty easy, really. You can do it on your own. But if you have any sort of problems with it, then use this video that is right here that I made for my YouTube page to show you how to do it. I went through and I made one for myself. So it's a little 3-minute video. You can probably do it on your own without it, but just in case, it's there for you. So let's take a look at this link for the coronavirus in the U.S. And you see that map of the United States comes up. We're going to click on that. Okay, and it should let you see this without making an account. It shows that we've currently got 6.1 million cases, which is among countries that are industrialized. It's pretty much the worst in the world, unfortunately. We're coming up on 185,000 deaths from it. That's not good either. The United States has not handled this whole thing well. People have been undisciplined, and they have just kind of preferred that it would just go away, and they're pretending like it isn't really going on. Other countries have done a much better job of it than we have for various reasons. So, you probably have heard about some of the hypotheses for those reasons. But here's the United States. Obviously, these places where where you got white, that means there's basically no cases going on. These are also the parts of the United States where basically there are no people living either. So, I mean, that's all well and good. But what you're really looking for are these kind of real pale yellow. Those are the places that really have it under control right now, at least. And then the red are the places where what we refer to as hot spots. So you take a look at like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts. That's where the early epicenter is what we use, really developed. And you've had, a big part of the deaths in America from coronavirus came here, but they came here way back in the spring. Now that we look at it, that part of the country has really got it under control. And a big reason for that is they've taken the whole wearing masks and social distancing thing very seriously since they've seen just how bad it can get. Now, you take a look, in the Chicago area right here, we're doing okay. We're not quite as good as they're doing it, but we're doing all right. And we, for the most part, as we've seen in school, we're taking the mask wearing very seriously, trying to social distance as best as we can. But then you've got places, down in the South here or in the Midwest where you see a lot of red. And, basically what it comes down to is those are areas that have not taken mask wearing very serious. They've not taken social distancing very seriously. So their cases are still going up and up and up. And in some cases, it's young people like yourselves, which the virus doesn't really hit too many young people very hard. It comes out like a bad cold or the flu, which that's great, but there are young people just like you that they've been hospitalized, they've died from it. So it's a real thing. The odds are on your side if you get it, but it can be a rough thing. Now, the first question that is on our worksheet here is it says, name 3 states where cases are currently increasing. Now, I'm just like the last one. I'm recording this video here before you actually do this. So your list is probably going to look quite a bit like this, but it might change even by tomorrow. Okay, so this is places where it's going up, and the one closest to us is the state of Iowa. And we saw, I kind of moused over it, but there's a lot of red in the state of Iowa right now. Not as many people there, but a lot of red. Okay, now we go down to where cases are mostly the same. Okay, and that's where Illinois is right now. So you can see, we went up there in the spring. That's when they first sent us home. We went down kind of in June. We're kind of crawling back up, but we're sort of leveling off right now. We're going to have to see in the next couple of weeks where, with school starting, how are things going. That's a lot of people have their eye on that. But you can see, like here in New Jersey and New York, you can see how bad it was for them before and how much better they're doing now. Okay, so that's where cases are mostly the same right now. Now, cases are going down in certain places: Georgia, Louisiana, Florida, California. Okay, so when you answer those, name 3 states where cases are currently increasing, you pick 3 off of the increasing list. 3 states where they're mostly the same, pick 3 from the mostly the same list. Illinois is one of them, or at least as of when I'm recording this, that's what it is. And then 3 states where cases are decreasing. You go from that third one. Now, this one is going to ask you a little bit of information on your own. While cases decreasing is good news, how could that be somewhat misleading in some states' count? Okay, in order to illustrate that, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to write, but I'm going to lead you pretty close to it. Let's take a look at the state of Louisiana. Now, you see how their graph went way up. That was back in July, and they're coming down and everything, and it's generally looking pretty good for them. So it's always good news when the cases are decreasing. But here's what you got to keep in mind: Louisiana was just hit by 2 hurricanes, 2 of them. And because of that, they've had to make a lot of resources just for the hurricane. And there hasn't been a whole lot of priority in the last couple of weeks on doing testing the right way. So, yeah, they're not getting a whole lot of cases, but that's partially because they're not really testing a whole lot of people either. So while their case numbers are going down, you can't deny that. Is that accurate? Maybe. But it might not be, just because if you don't bother to test anybody, you don't end up with, you end up with lots of people sick and nobody knows exactly why they're sick. Well, we can guess, but that's all we're doing is guessing. So we don't want to guess. We want to know, and that's been a big problem. And then this one here is what we really have to keep an eye on, is where the deaths are increasing, because these are old people with conditions like diabetes and obesity and heart problems and stuff like that, which could include your age group, and this is who we've really got to worry about it, for people like you guys, for even somebody who's my age. I'm starting to get into that area where I got to worry about it a little bit, but I'm still probably young enough to where, if you're generally healthy, which I am, it's probably not going to be a death sentence, but boy, I would hate to find out the hard way on that. So that's kind of, as we're taking a look at it, you see kind of the way it's gone for everybody. Okay, so once we've got that done, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to hit the link for the Illinois coronavirus map. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can get to this, but hitting this link is the easiest way to do it, and that'll take you to our state map. And we're basically going to see kind of the same thing, except just the state of Illinois. And it's going to show us, as soon as it actually loads, it's going to show us a picture of Illinois. There it comes. Okay, so we can see right there, actually, Kendall County, where we live, is actually doing better than almost every other county around us, at least right now. Okay, so we're in that real pale yellow. You see most of the other ones, they're a little bit darker yellow, but we're doing all right. And it's, LaSalle County, a little bit darker than that. Okay, so we see it, but we've got counties that are in the red down here: Lawrence County, Richland County, Clay County, Cumberland County, McLean County. Get way down at the bottom, Pulaski County. Okay, and then some other ones. Actually, these were in the red just a couple of weeks ago. So actually, they're showing some improvement. So you get kind of a look at where they are, and essentially they show that the counties that are in the red are the ones that are high up on this chart. So when your assignment asks you name 3 counties in Illinois that are currently coronavirus hotspots, you want red counties. So you're going to go through and you're going to pick out some of the ones that are in the red. Like for example, there's one right there. Okay, so you'll pick out 3. Okay, now what part of the state are these counties generally located? Well, we've already said that they're not in our part of the state, right? We're in the northern part of the state up here. They tend to be in either the central or the southern part of the state. Okay, this part was not hit very hard in the spring. People there kind of have gotten lazy, and now they're getting hit harder with that. Not as many people down there, but the people who are down there are getting sicker at a faster rate than we are up here. Most of the Illinois population lives in this part of the state, but there's still a lot of people elsewhere. So I mean, we're only as good as where things are. To our neighbors. So that's kind of what we've got to take a look at. Now you're going to see these questions, and then you may see a few others that will ask you to kind of interpret some of that data. So I'm going to kind of leave you to do that on your own. So by the time you see this particular video, there may be some more questions on the list here. Okay, so go ahead and get those answers filled in, and that's where we're going. Okay, good job, guys. Keep it up.